Hi fellow druids, this is Eli from the land of Ar. I am relaxing in my room. I just came out of my basement because it's the only cool place in this Bal Tropical. It's very hot weather outside, also inside, and it's not really my cup of tea. So to keep my head cool, I often go to the basement where I work on Chacapas, or the holy rattles. For this is the season, of course, when all is full of expanding fresh green, to ask the trees and plants, trees for me specific, for harvest for this and the next round year to make rattles. I'm myself not very fond of wands. I have a house full of wooden sticks, that's true. But in the journeys and in healing work and the journeys I guide for groups, I always have been using the chacapas, or the sacred tree rattles. It started out years ago in a shamanic sound healing training, and I wanted to create these myself, and I started out with bamboo, which is very light and very friendly, and anyone can work and feel the bamboo energy. But of course, stepping into the path of Drury, the trees also pointed out, well, it's time now that we come in the picture. So I've been working on the holy tree rattles for years, and for me they feel a bit like the wand, or the, yeah. And each year there is a new species in which I dive into and learn a lot from, and I set my mind to certain things, and it never works. It always is something completely different that talks to me and points out what to do. I have a season again, sometimes I make only two. This year is again raw, all the trees are really pulling at my arms to visit and to make lots of stuff. Not potions this year, but chacapas. So I have some of my recent creations here which I wanted to show you. There will be more coming, of course, but they're drying, resting, etc. And I will also share maybe some other time, because then otherwise this will be a too long a video, how I do this and how this process became like a ritual in some way. And yeah, where to start out? There's so much to tell, because each Chacapa, even from the same tree, and their brothers and sisters, has its own story. So they're all mumbling, so those are all packages of stories brought together. And maybe I would like to start out with what first? With bamboo, maybe. I have created, you can see one hanging there if the camera is high enough. These ones, for example, I have had for years, and I can't give them to the fire yet, because they have this very gentle and smooth sound that I can't create anymore. But I can't really create it consciously. The rattles do tell me what they bring of energy. Sometimes they bring an affirmation, and they also tell, of course, of the spirit of the land they were planted in. And this is brother and sister from a same kind of plant of bamboo, and you can see that it's, I think I've had this one for 5 years or more. So yeah, there will be coming a day that we have to part, but not yet, not yet. And then few years ago, not that long ago, I discovered with a friend of mine some bamboos with huge leaves. Yeah, these are great. I often use these around the fire as a fire keeper, And they are for me also connected to the, when we did the shamanic sound healing training, we also had to journey to our spirit guide of the sound healing, which for me was the wind. There came 3 Buddhas with the round cheeks blowing, telling me the wind will be your teacher and companion. And these very much are strong but kind. I can often take off on a journey like their wings, and you can fly up. You can literally kindle the fire, kindle the energy of a group, cleanse very much. These are very powerful, very strong. Also, getting old, you can feel the life of the Chacapa when you talk to it and have it in your hands as well. That the time they're getting old and they want a retirement, and it's time to harvest the new. So I will tune in and see if the plant has something to offer. If it's not, then not. Of course, it's the plants themselves that decide what will be in your hands, gifted by them. So that's bamboo. And I have in my basement 10 or 20 more sorts of bamboo, but we'll show you them in a next video. The first year that birch ever succeeded was this year. I'm very happy because it was one of the first that I also wanted to try out, to make a rattle of birch. And in the open space in the Bardi Grove where I used to walk, there was a birch that showed me, cut this, do that, bind them together this way, but the leaves all fell off and it didn't really sound, it was like, hey, now what's with this? It's not really working. But this year there was a brand new trick. The birch showed me this. And I just made this one of birch, and it's just finished actually. And while the branches are put together and I'm binding the wool, deciding which feather it should have, which pearls, the Chacapa tells its story of what it could bring in healing and how to work with it, and if it's of course gifted for my hand or for someone else's. Some Chacapas I make, I feel that it's not for me to work with them, and so they journey on. But this is the birch, who is really vulnerable and very subtle in a way, and strong as well. Of course, you can't really properly hear this with this camera. You should come over and feel it live and tune in. But I was very happy to see that the birch finally showed me what to do, and so I will very curious if I will use this when the sound journeys start again, what it might bring. And it also, when they're fresh, the scent of this tree and the leaves really comes out. It's like a drug. It's really kind of seductive scent of this green. Another one that surprised me, and that will be the last for this video, is the Rowan. I really connected to this tree only last year, when I noticed that a friend of mine really has a Rowan connection and energy. So hi Sian for being my twin soulmate and Rowan. And well, this year the Rowan showed me areas where there are lots of them, and it were the young, freshly sprouted twigs I should harvest, which made me feel a bit uncomfortable, like this young life. But they pointed out a yes, and of course you better listen when they give you an assignment. So the first one was this that came to life. I also have one I sent to my dear friend Sian, who's a small one, dried flat. That is particularly for healing work only, because the sound is very silent, and it's almost like leaves of the cannabis you dry. It gives the same thin leaves, very vulnerable and taking up things for cleansing. These ones are also very, very generous but quiet and drawing you in bit by bit. They all have this kind of quality. And it's very, very young branches, and they're calling out, as you can hear, even see, feel, that they have a different energy. Each one, even if it's from the same tree, brother, sister, has this unique personality. It's really very cool. And they keep calling out. I should make more, I have no clue why. Probably they will journey on with someone else. And the one that is for my friend, my German twin friend, Sian, is this one. It had to be white rope and the elven blue pearls. It wanted me to put these last pearls on them so that they could journey along to my friend. And I'll have to hand it over personally because it's too vulnerable to send, of course. I did once, but mostly the ones that are dried in a flat way. You can really press them in a cardboard and send them safely. It's always wait and see. But that's for now in this video. Next video I will show you the others that are recently created and others that I have been that have been accompanying me now for I think half a year. The very old ones, I donated them to the fire, or they go back to the forest if they tell me where they want to find their final resting place. So voila, that's all for today about Chacapas, and I'll hope to meet you soon in the next video, or if the borders are open and you cross Belgium, feel free to come and visit the land of Ar. Bye bye.